Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's Foundation Friday for over 50, I am going to be reviewing the new one from Shiseido. It's their Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. This retails for $47 for 1 ounce and it comes in 30 shades. This is supposed to be a weightless foundation that synchronizes with skin and self-refreshes non-stop for an up to 24-hour just applied look and flawless finish. It is supposed to give you medium buildable coverage with a natural finish. It is said to be for all skin types from dry up to oily, and it's also supposed to resist heat, oil, humidity, and movement. So lots of big claims on this one, and we are going to be putting it to a multi-day wear test today on more mature skin. So I'm 57, I have a lot of sun damage, I have a ton of texture in large pores, a fair amount of wrinkles, and also some age spots to contend with. I also have combo skin, so I tend to have overall normal skin, a little oily through the T-zone, and a little dry around my mouth and chin area. Actually, Shiseido Synchro Skin, the original version of this foundation, is one of my top foundations. I don't wear it very often just because I could never get a good color match in it, so I really have very high hopes for this. I have tested this for 3 days already. Today is the 4th day. I've tried it with different application methods, different sunscreens, different primers, different setting powders. So let's get started reviewing this guy. It comes in a really pretty frosted glass bottle. It does have a pump dispenser and it does have a twist lock mechanism, so that is awfully nice. It is mainly a water and silicone mix. This formula contains 11 different silicones. It has an SPF of 30 sunscreen that is a mixture of chemical and mineral sunscreens. But of course, you don't use enough foundation to have it give you the SPF that it says on the label. So what you're actually getting out of the SPF on this, if you use like a pump or two, is probably a 7 to 10, something around there, not a 30. Okay, just so you know. The sunscreen ingredients in here will screen UVB and UVA2 rays, but they won't screen out UVA1 rays. There's nothing in here for that. So another reason to wear another sunscreen underneath. I bought this in the shade 310 Silk. Here's the swatch on it. I don't have any other swatches to compare it to. All right, so let's go into the footage on the days that I tested this. On the first day, I wore my Elta MD UV Elements SPF 50 sunscreen mixed with a little bit of Paula's Choice Super Light SPF 30 sunscreen. I let that set up for 20 minutes. Then I didn't apply any primer because I like to see how the foundation works without any helpers on the first day. I applied it with a sponge on one side and a brush on the other side, and I didn't use any setting powder. But I think I like the sponge side better. There are a couple of little brush marks here and here. Nothing major, nothing that I could get the camera to pick up. They're so minor, but I am just gonna pounce over it with the sponge just to get it to be streakless. But I think the coverage is about the same on both sides. Seems to be like a high medium. My first impressions when applying this foundation is that it's a little bit of a thicker liquid. I prefer things that are a little bit more fluid, a little bit more runny, but that it does have really good pigmentation. I felt like the color was slightly light for me. It blends really evenly and smoothly and has a soft satin finish that's really pretty on the skin. Using 1.5 pumps gave medium coverage with a little bit of pink showing through on my cheeks. It looked really great from a distance and I really liked it. All right, I'm back. It's been about an hour. I ate some lunch, I dried my hair, I put on my makeup. In the last hour, it has settled a little bit in my wrinkles over here. I gotta check the forehead wrinkles. It still feels a little bit tacky. I gotta say, it's not really like drying back, and it's not humid. It's fall day, and so it's really like, you know, cool and crisp out and not very humid. So I don't know why this isn't drying and setting. I feel like the color is a little funky. I did put on a bit of bronzer and stuff to warm it up. I am okay with it. I feel like it's a little bit of a makeup-y look. It's not really like super sheer and natural look, almost a little bit waxy, I feel. Maybe I would like it more if I powdered it. I'm not gonna powder it today. I'm gonna just leave it because it is supposed to be oil controlling. Yeah, it's supposed to be heat and oil resistant, so we'll see if my oils, you know, kind of make me look shiny later in the day. Let me show you where it settled in the wrinkles. Right here, and then over here. Feel like it's kind of accentuating my upper lip lines a little bit. So I was working outside that day doing some fall cleanup, yard work, putting my pots and plants and some patio furniture away. While I was out there, I decided to do the sunshine test. So let's take a look at how it looks in the bright, bright sunlight. I also did the kitchen light test and took a look at it in natural window light. I did manage to get hot and sweaty while I was doing the yard work, so I came back to the camera after about 5.5 hours hoping to see that the self-refreshing had happened and that my makeup was still looking perfect. But sadly, I was pretty disappointed in how it looked. It had not resisted oil, it had not resisted heat, it had not resisted humidity. I looked so shiny and so sweaty. I really was not that happy with it. I thought it looked really waxy. Still settled in wrinkles. It hasn't magically refreshed those. Right there. And then you can see it's wearing off by the side of my nose and kind of gathering in the old nasal labial fold, kind of breaking up on the surface there, making this side of my upper lip look particularly creased. And of course settled in these wrinkles too. Side of my nose is a little pink. Maybe I'll blot it just to see what happens because I wasn't going to powder it at all today. I feel like I've done my sweating for the day, so it's not like I'm going to get sweatier. Does that look better? Just give it a little blot. Oh, dinner's ready. I'm roasting potatoes and chicken because it's Sunday night and I wanted like a fall roasted chicken dinner. So that's in the oven cooking. But I feel like that does have some makeup on it, like the makeup came off a bit. Okay, so I think it looks much better now, much less oily. That has refreshed it, but it didn't do it itself. It took a blotting paper to do it. All right, it is now 11 p.m. Time for the 10-hour check-in on Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation that did not self-refresh. I am looking shiny again. My forehead right here looks so textury and so greasy. This makes me sad. The struggle is real for older people. I mean, if you don't have like the perfectest skin. Anyway, enough whining and moaning and complaining. Yeah, this does not look good. So while day one got off to a great start from about 5 hours on till the end, I was pretty unhappy and disappointed in the foundation. So let's move on to day two. For day two, I switched up the sunscreen. I used my favorite chemical sunscreen. That's the La Roche-Posay Anthelios AOX Antioxidant Serum with an SPF 50. I use the IT Cosmetics Gripping Primer on one side. I use the Revlon Color Stay Primer on the other side. Use my fingers to apply on one side and the sponge on the other. I tried to use less of it today so I wouldn't get quite such a waxy look out of it. All right, color aside, I think the primers have both helped it to go on a little bit better, and I'm going for more of a sheer look, and so I think it looks a lot better. I am going to set it with setting powder today because yesterday I didn't, and it did get very shiny in my T-zone. I thought we might try this Urban Decay powder because it's a flesh color, and that might help this be a little more less deadly looking. Okay, off you go. Bye-bye. Should I try it? I'm not sure I love this brush. It's very, very dense. I don't like that dense of a brush for shedding powder. I like a really light, fluffy brush. Is that helping me to look any better of a color? I feel like it's not really settling today between the primer and the setting powder. I really liked how it looked better at sheer coverage, and I was happy with it again and thought it looked really pretty and skin-like and natural. At the 5-hour check-in, it definitely looked better today than at 5 hours the previous day when I had been out sweating in the yard. It still looks very skin-like and natural and pretty. It's only slightly more luminous on my forehead and cheeks. It's faded a little around my nose, chin, and eyebrows. I feel like the IT primer side looks a lot better than the Revlon primer side. The IT side looks more hydrated and less wrinkly, especially around my upper lip and mouth area. The Revlon side looks drier and more creased. 10 hours in Shiseido. Did it self-refresh? It did not. It wore off. Oh gosh, okay, so yeah, you can see like this little pink mask across here, pink here. I mean, it's just pretty much gone. I mean, I did a fairly sheer coating of it today because yesterday I thought it looked really waxy and yucky. Today I don't feel like it looks waxy and yucky, but it just disappeared. Not doing anything terribly bad while it disappeared, but not looking great either. Definitely like super textury again. I don't love it. Second day and I'm not in love. So another kind of mixed bag of a day. I feel like it definitely wore better for longer and looked nice for longer with this combination of things under it, but still could not quite get it up to that 10-hour mark looking great or not wearing off or not accentuating texture. So it definitely was not coming even close to living up to that 24-hour of self-refreshing, you know, beautiful looking, just applied wear claim. I should have learned my lesson about this one and called it quits then, but no, I went ahead and put it on a third day. I'll just tell you what I did. I used my Make Prem sunscreen mixed with the Paula's Choice sunscreen. I put on a coating of the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I applied it with a blending sponge. I think the blending sponge is how I like it the best. I applied a sheer coating of it. I set it with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Powder, and I topped it with another layer of the Morphe Setting Mist. So I got a Morphe Setting Mist sandwich going on there. I did a 1-hour check-in on my phone in the car when I was at Costco, so I can bring that footage in now. Hey you guys, I'm sitting outside of Costco right now. I'm about to do some shopping. I really need to stock up on supplements today, so that's what I'm mainly here for. But I thought we'd do a quick check-in on the makeup. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation, and I've had it on for about an hour. Got kind of a late start today because I worked out this morning, but anyway, I think it looks kind of nice. I checked in on it again at 4 hours, and again it was starting to deteriorate, looks waxy, look more textury. Make my upper lips look really wrinkly and old. It's actually settled in my lip wrinkle here, which hate that. Settled in over here and like breaking up on the surface, pink underneath the old nostrils, pink on the chin. But it's more just the look of my texture, like with my good foundations that I really am happy with. It doesn't look super textury like this all the way back here, you know, at just 4 hours in. That's what I like about them. Oh, and while we're here, let's notice the concealer is completely creased. I decided to give the Boing Cakeless Concealer another try. And oh my gosh, now I'm like regretting it because I've been walking around with this horribly creased looking concealer all day. I really can't stand it. Yeah, so not happy with that. All creased in my wrinkles, all settled in there, all clinging to dry patches again. Exactly the same as it was the first time I used it. So I did come back to the camera at 11 hours, so we get an 11-hour wear test on it on this day. But again, it looked pretty much the same later in the day as it had on the other days. It was waxy looking, it was worn off, it was shiny, it was accentuating texture, it had not self-refreshed, it had not resisted oil, it had not resisted heat or humidity or movement, but what can I say? All right, we still have a couple more tests to do, even though I'm not giving this a hugely high alert recommendation. Let's go ahead with the old flash photo test and the phone test. Okay, super shiny, clean phone glass. I know this one is not going to pass because one of my biggest complaints about it is that it doesn't dry and it doesn't set. And things that don't dry and set, I notice them coming off on my fingers all day. They're under my fingernails. Here we go. Not shocked that this is a major fail on the phone test. Let me clean off the glass so I can do the flash photo. Be right back with that. All right, the good news is it passes the flash test. It definitely doesn't look any paler on most of my face than my neck and chest. Definitely have some flashback under my eyes from the setting powder I used. I didn't use the IT powder today because I know that one gives flashback. I'm trying to find one that doesn't give any flashback. The one I used today was the Revlon Candid powder, another favorite, but sadly it looks like this one gives flashback too. So, all right you guys, it's time to do the pros and cons on the Shiseido Self-Refreshing Foundation. On the pro side is that it blends easily. It's got a beautiful satin finish when it's first applied. It's buildable and it looks great to start. On the con side are that it settles into wrinkles. It is not self-refreshing. I don't even really know what that means anyway. What do like little men climb out of this and come up to you and blot your face and move your makeup around and like reapply it to you, you know, as though you're on a photo shoot? On me, it gets waxy looking after a couple of hours of wear. It doesn't take long. It doesn't dry and set. It also accentuates texture, at least on me, later in the day. It was not oil, humidity, heat, or motion resistant. So I just can't really get behind this one. I gotta say, I like the original Shiseido Synchro Skin so much better than this one. I think if you have drier skin, you may kind of like this. I feel like it isn't a hydrating formula, but it's not drying either. And it does have, you know, so many silicones in it, plus glycerin, that basically it's gonna be kind of occlusive and it's gonna help to keep the moisture that you have in your skin in your skin. So maybe for dry skin people who are more mature, I would say maybe get a sample and give it a try, but I can't say run out and plunk down 50 bucks on this thing because I really, you know, I just didn't enjoy it that much. I liked how it looked at first, and then within a couple hours I was like, heck no. That is a no-go. So anyway, that is my full review on the Shiseido. I always do like to leave you with suggestions for foundations that I love. My top foundation that looks best on my skin continues to be the Chanel Ultra Le Tint Velvet. It used to be the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet, but that has been discontinued and replaced by this. There really isn't much difference between the two except for slight shifts in the shade range. So if you love that, you will also love this, and you should definitely give this a try. This is beautiful on my skin and it's beautiful all day, and I don't need to use a primer with it. So that's my full review on the Shiseido Self-Refreshing Synchro Skin. That's a tongue twister. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful and informative, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. So as always, everybody, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your watching. So have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.